Oz is a celebration of gaming and gaming culture featuring thought-provoking panels, a massive expo hall filled with the best publishers and independent studios, game demos, musical performances, tournaments, and a community experience unlike any other. Held across 3 full days and all under one roof, PAX offers the community the opportunity to meet with old friends, make new ones, interact with game developers, publishers, and brands, and get hands on with everything they love about gaming. Get ready, friends. We are about to go on a PAX Aus adventure because today I'm going to be talking to you and giving you my wrap up on my experience at PAX Aus 2024. It just happened over the weekend at the time of recording, and although I am absolutely tired and exhausted from all the walking and all of the social interactions, I had an absolute blast. It was so much fun to be able to catch up with internet friends, to catch up with IRL friends, and, being able to come together in this massive convention center filled with just everything gaming related, whether it's video games, tabletop games, TCG. They're all there. There were even panels happening and a couple of weddings too. No joke. There were a couple of weddings on a Sunday on the final day of PAX, but I will get into that later on. So first of all, I want to start off with my personal experience and what I got up to over the PAX weekend. So PAX ran over 3 days between Friday to Sunday. And let me tell you, there was so much to see and do. I was very overwhelmed. It just seems like every year PAX is getting bigger and bigger here. And it's no wonder because they actually take up the whole of the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre, and that venue is actually really big. So they take up all of the exhibition halls in that whole building, and then they also use or utilize the auditoriums that are sort of on the side building. So it's like 2 buildings sort of put together as one, and there's like a connection between the two, like a hallway. So the main expo halls will be the main big building, and then if you sort of keep walking up and then turn to the right, you'll actually end up heading in towards some of the auditoriums that are there. And my goodness, like this event takes up all of that space, like every single bit of it. It is huge. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I'm going to start off with Friday. Now, Friday, I wasn't there for the full day. The expo hall opened up at 10 a.m. each day. And because I was actually working during the day, I couldn't actually get in until later on. So I finished work at 2:30. There were a couple of things I had to do before I ended up heading in to the city. So I had to catch a train into the city to be able to get to the convention center for the event. And yeah, when I got there, I was literally only just going to go there to pick up my guest pass. And I'll explain later why I had to get a guest pass. So I went to get my guest pass. And considering that this badge, I'll say the official name, it is a special guest badge. This badge gave me the opportunity to walk the expo hall and sort of enter the event for all 3 days. So I thought, given that the expo hall was going to be closing at 6 p.m., so it closed at 6 p.m. each night as well, but the tabletop area ended up staying open till late on the Friday and the Saturday. But then on the Sunday, obviously, everything closed at 6 p.m., considering it was the final day. So on the Friday, I got there around about 4:30 p.m. and I picked up my badge and I thought, you know what, let me go in and just get an idea of where everything is. PAX obviously gave us a map through the PAX Aus app. And even though I had a look at the map before getting there to sort of see where everything was situated, it doesn't actually sort of, you don't actually grasp how big this space is until you get there. So when I walked in through the entrance point, luckily I didn't have to worry about queues at that point because it was pretty much towards the end of the day anyway. So I walked in at about 4:30, and my goodness, was it still absolutely busy. Like, it was packed even at that time later in the afternoon. The first area that you encounter the moment you walk in was the PAX Rising area, and that is where all of the indie developers were set up with their small booths, showcasing all of the games they've been working on, which is my favorite area of the whole event. Being able to walk up to these booths where they've got their PCs set up with the games that they've been working on for so long, showcasing it to the community, to the gaming community. And like, I could see how much love that these developers have for their games when they're at these events, because they love talking about it. They love the interactions they get from all of the people that come up to them and ask them questions. I did the same thing. The first indie developers I ended up catching up with was the team over at I Miss My Friends Studio, who created the absolutely gorgeous and emotional game Fishbowl that I had the lovely pleasure of checking out the demo for on the PlayStation. And these people are so lovely. They're not based here in Australia, no, but they were here to showcase their game Fishbowl. And we had originally emailed each other before the event actually happened, and they were hoping, they were just emailing people to say, hey, we're going to be at PAX, hope to see you there, kind of a thing. And I replied to their email saying, I am really looking forward to catching up with you and having a chat. And they were really appreciative of the email. And the moment I walked up to them and they saw me, they immediately asked me, are you Fulia? I'm like, I am. And so it was really nice to see them, be they're just so friendly and lovely. I really appreciated being able to talk to them, and I told them how much I loved the demo and that I'm really looking forward to the full game release. For those of you who haven't played Fishbowl, like, seriously, you should really get on it. If you like 2D pixel graphics, bit of a sort of like a coming of age sort of a story. This game was made during the pandemic times, and essentially this game is like a game where the protagonist is working from home for a month, but at the same time she's also grieving the loss of her grandmother, and she goes through all of these emotions, and you get to play these little mini games. There's some puzzles involved. And it is absolutely beautiful. The storytelling is really, really lovely. So I would highly recommend you go check out Fishbowl by I Miss My Friends Studio. Absolutely wonderful team. And yeah, so they were the first devs that I had a chat with, and they were so nice. They were also giving out badges with their protagonist on the it's like a little pin badge, and it was so cute. It had the protagonist on one. They gave me two. So the protagonist on one, whose name is Aloe in the game, and the fish in a bowl, which is the main title of the game, Fishbowl. And you'll realize why it's called Fishbowl when you play the demo, of course. So I'm not going to give away any more details other than that, because I want you to go play the demo for yourself. No spoilers here. Got to chat with them. And yeah, while I was there, after I had caught up with the fishbowl team, I sort of had a little look around to see what other indie games that I would be interested in checking out. Another game that I came across was a game called PB. It sounds weird in terms of the name, but so PB PEEBI is made by Onion Cocktail Games. They are an Australian developer, and this is essentially a point and click puzzle adventure game. It's 2D cartoony looking graphics, and it's really interesting. It's got some good bad humor, as they put it. They've got bad humor in it, but it's essentially it's the voice actors. It is fully voice acted, and it's Australian. So you're going to hear Australian accents in this. It's a lot of fun. You need to sort of walk around, find clues. Essentially, PB, I'm pretty sure, is the name of the main protagonist that you play as. You have been locked out of your apartment, and you have to find a way to get into the apartment because your keys are in the apartment. So you're sort of like, you're walking around, you're interacting with all sorts of different, objects and people and trying to figure things out. And yeah, it's funny, and it's very bright in terms of like, it's very vibrant in its coloring. And the character design is really interesting. I said to the developers when I was at PAX, I was like, these your characters look like they remind me of I don't know if anyone would know about these dolls that I've come across, and they're kind of like the Monster High dolls, where they have like this sort of character design where their heads are quite large and their bodies are really small. So it kind of looks similar to that. And the developers were like, yeah, we've been getting that kind of comment like all weekend, all day. And like a few people had mentioned that. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, but it's really cool and I kind of like it. And it's very unique as well in terms of, seeing all these other different developers with their games. Theirs was the most unique in their design, in their character design. So I kind of really like that about them. But yeah, if you want to check out PB, it is available on Steam to play the demo. So the demo is there. But yeah, it's a really interesting sort of a puzzle point and click game. So enjoy that. And you'll obviously, have a good laugh because of the humor that's involved in it. So yeah, I came across them. And I just, kept walking around and just having a quick look because I didn't have much time on the Friday to see what games were on showcase. So the only couple of other games, so while I was with the PB development team, played their game there and then, I just had a little walk around. I saw that, Final Fantasy 14 Online had a massive booth sort of close by to that area, obviously showcasing, Final Fantasy 14 Online, trying to get as many new members into their game. And that booth was never empty. There was always a queue to get into that booth to play on their setup. It was an impressive setup, by the way, by Square Enix. And they essentially had, it kind of looked like a, I don't know how I'd describe it, kind of like a tiki kind of island vibes. They had like little straw huts and stuff, the way they set up all their PCs. So that people can sort of, join and play the game and sign up and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of people went and played and joined the Final Fantasy 14 Online game, which was insane. Like, I didn't expect that many people to be so interested in checking it out. I suppose it's also a great way to see whether or not you'd be interested in playing it, like, in general. And that's why I love PAX, because it gives you the opportunity to play games you normally wouldn't, and to see whether or not you would be interested in actually, going out of your way to buy the full game and play it at home after the fact. So, Square Enix did a great job with that. And then right next to them, like across from them, was the Sega booth. And Sega had their own little thing going on where they were showcasing all of their games in there, including, I think it was the new Sonic games. What Sonic game was there? The one that's coming out with Shadow. My goodness, my brain is not... Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. There you go. So they were showcasing that. It looked like they had a little booth in there for content creators, I think. Because I could see that they, there was like a sort of like a content, like a streamer's setup in there where you could sort of see into the booth. So there was like a clear perspex, so you could see in. They had their, PC set up with a microphone and lights. It looked like it might have been like there was like a live Twitch chat going. So I think it was, dedicated to maybe their Sega ambassadors or content creators that came in to do some streams during PAX. So that was really cool. They were also showcasing, other than the Sonic and Shadow Generations, they were also showcasing Metaphor Refantasio, or as I would like to call it, Metaphor Refantastico. So yeah, they were definitely showcasing that. And some of their other games that I didn't really pick up on, but I didn't get a chance to go into the Sega booth, only because, like the Final Fantasy 14 online booth, the Sega booth was always full as well, and the queues were always so long. Granted, if I had have joined those queues, I may have had the opportunity to walk in and actually see for myself what was happening in there. But if it was mainly just to, check out the games and all that sort of stuff, then, that's fine. I can definitely do that at home myself, which I already have with Metaphor Fantastical. And I'm actually kind of keen to jump into that game myself. But at this particular point, I'm going to wait. So I'm not going to pick that up day one because I've got a lot of other games that I want to check out. So instead of going into the Sega booth, I walked around a bit more of the PAX Rising area. And not only were there Australian indie developers, up-and-coming developers especially, there were also our neighbours, the New Zealand counterparts. They were also there. They had their own little section of indie developers from New Zealand. So we had some Kiwi independent game devs, which was really cool. There were a couple of games in there. I didn't get a chance to try any of their games, but I did walk through and had a look at what was being showcased. One that really took my eye and was definitely a popular one at PAX is a game called Burger Boys. And this game is developed and published by Mischief Makers Studio. And it looks interesting. It's a cooking simulation game. There's some management involved. It's 2D graphics. It looks very cool. They also tag it as being cozy as well. So yeah, I mean, it just looks fun. So I wouldn't mind checking that one out. However, there isn't a demo available on Steam, so you would definitely need to have been at PAX to play it. And I'm upset that I didn't get a chance to check it out because they were very popular. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to check it out. But just from looking at the Steam trailer and just seeing all the images from the game, the screenshots, it looks really cool. Looks like it's going to be good fun. So I would definitely check out Burger Boys on Steam. And yeah, so what else was there? So Friday, so like I said, didn't get much of a chance to walk around too much. Like I said, the event was huge. So, and the fact that I only had an hour and a half in the expo hall when I got there, that was still quite a lot of time in order for me to like walk around and just see what was there. I did get a chance to check out a VR game by the name of Max Mustard. And I'll tell you what, I did not expect myself to want to play a VR platformer. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's made by Toast Interactive, and it is a VR platformer, and it's made for Steam VR, MetaQuest, and PSVR 2. So, PlayStation gamers who have PSVR 2, get ready for a VR game like no other. It's a really cool looking platformer. You're essentially in the VR space, but so you can see everything around you, like the whole environment. You're around it, but you're playing as a little character, and in third person. So you're playing in third person, and you're helping her out, but you're maneuvering her while you're doing other things like shooting a plunger gun, or doing all sorts of other things and trying to get through these areas and hitting targets and battling bosses. So it actually was quite fun. It was a little trippy though when I first started playing it, just because my brain was, from what I could see through my eyes, I was moving in the space. My brain could not understand the fact that there was movement, but I myself, my body was not moving. So that kind of tripped up my brain a little bit. But it's still a really cool looking, very interesting platformer game in the VR space. I'm kind of keen to actually check this one out for myself. I have a MetaQuest, however, I've only got number 1, so I probably won't be able to buy it through the MetaQuest store. I'd have to rig my Quest, my VR headset up to my PC and buy it through Steam instead, which I haven't done before, but I don't think it'd be that difficult. So it looks like fun though. I would definitely recommend checking out Max Mustard on Steam, MetaQuest, and PSVR 2. This is actually pretty much almost ready for release. So at the time of recording, Max Mustard will be released on the 17th of October, which is in a couple of days. But if you're listening to this after the fact, then it is probably already out. So check it out. I don't know if there's going to be a demo, but I don't think it's not going to be that bad. I don't think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's very vibrant as well. And you get to go and help these little creatures in there as well that look really cute. Like, it's just got really cute sort of cozy eyes. Like, they're adorable. And they fly around. They kind of look like Pokemon, but they're not really. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be good fun. Yeah, so go check out Max Mustard. And they're Queensland developers, so they're from Australia as well. So there you go. What else did I get up to? So yeah, like I said, didn't get really much time on the Friday. So I ended up bumping into Drew and Josh from the House of Mario, and they're awesome. I've met Drew before at a PAX that I went to 2 years ago, so the 2022 PAX. But this time around, I got to also meet Josh, who is his cohort, his partner in crime on the House of Mario. But Josh also has his own podcast by the name of Nintenvania. And yeah, definitely go check out Nintenvania and House of Mario as well, because they're more Australian content creators. Let's go. Let's go support them. They mainly cover a lot of Nintendo games, Nintendo-based games. But I know that with Josh, it's not just specifically Nintendo, but that's his preferred platform. But he also enjoys a lot of Metroidvania games. So there you go. That's where the Nintenvania comes from. Mostly Nintendo, of course, because of the Ninten and then the Vania is for the Metroidvanias in terms of its genre that he loves to play. But he does also play a lot of other games as well, not just Metroidvanias. So definitely go check them out. They do a lot of amazing work over there. So yeah, definitely worth checking them out. And yeah, they're really, really lovely people. Had a good catch up with them. Ended up after the expo hall had shut down for the day, went to a pub, had some dinner. I had a burger. Actually, we all had burgers. And yeah, just had a good old sort of chinwag and just catching up and being able to sort of be there in person. The whole IRL thing, social interactions, doesn't really happen a lot with me these days, but being able to do that at PAX has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So I do appreciate that. But yeah, so Friday was a short day for me personally because I was only there for like a short time. The other game that I did end up checking out while I was there was a game called the Rewinder 2, and that was a really interesting looking game. It is a adventure, story-rich, mythology-based game. It's got 2D sort of pixel graphics. The Rewinder 2 is an action-adventure game inspired by Eastern mythology. Explore cursed villages, dungeons, unlock new skills, and meet all sorts of ghosts and monsters. So this is based off of ancient Chinese mythology. I got a chance to chat to the developers at Misty Mountain Studio. And they were really lovely, very nice people. And it's like I got the chance to chuck on the headphones and play the game while I was there. And you definitely need to have sound on for this game. You definitely probably chuck on those headphones for this game. It's very atmospheric. The music detail is really great, and all of the sound effects in there as well is really cool. But also the fact that that the whole vibe of it all, considering that it is sort of in the kind of a dungeon style, a cursed village, you're meeting really quirky characters. And yeah, it's just like the art style is really cool. It's very dark in terms of the way it looks. So, and it's considering that it is also dungeons with ghosts and monsters and all that sort of stuff. I would definitely recommend checking out the Rewinder 2 if you can. They're looking at releasing it early next year. They're pretty close to finishing it. They're just finalizing some stuff according to what they have told me during the event. But I think they also said that there's going to be a demo available during Steam Next Fest this coming week at the time of recording, or at the time that you're listening. I don't know if it'll still be available, but definitely check out the Rewinder 2 by Misty Mountain Studio. And yeah, that was pretty much all I did on the Friday. Moving into the Saturday. Saturday was my first full day of the event. And yeah, I did a lot of walking. Let's just put it that way. A lot of walking. Hit pretty much over 10,000 steps for the day. And my first objective was to see the areas that I didn't get a chance to see on the Friday evening. So I started walking past the PAX Rising area, considering that I had got a grasp of what to expect from walking in there on the Friday night. So I just decided, I'm going to walk a little bit further down and see what else is available. So I got to walk down and saw a lot of PC brands, including MSI. And I think who else was there? Centacom was one of the major sponsors of the event. So they had their own major area set up. I think there was LG was also there for, their gaming stuff. Govee had a little area set up as well, which I went past. They had a little giveaway happening. I subscribed to their giveaway. And funnily enough, ended up winning myself a limited edition Xbox controller. And I mean limited edition. They were giving away one Xbox controller every hour throughout the event. They only had 30 of these controllers. Absolutely gorgeous looking, hand painted, not necessarily from, it's not from Microsoft specifically, but these Xbox controllers, you can tell that they were actually hand painted just by feeling the controller. They just, like, I think they airbrushed it onto the controller, on the faceplate of the controller, and it looks really, really pretty. So I was very fortunate enough to win this Xbox controller. And I got number 22 out of 30, which was pretty cool, which means, there wasn't very many left over. They had already given away 21 prior to that. And yeah, it's just been, it was really cool to do that. I, got to do a little Instagram story for them to, so that I could, they were very nice. They were like, if you'd like to share it on your Instagram, for content, let's do a video and you can show off the controller and everything. And yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, so Govee was there. They had a dodgeball arena set up at PAX, which was interesting. I was not expecting that. So they had a bit of a dodgeball tournament happening with, I think it was actual dodgeball teams. And I think they also gave opportunity for, PAX goers to also try out and play some dodgeball as well. So it was a small dodgeball court, but it still felt big enough because they also had a mini sort of stand where people can sit down and watch it from one side. They had commentators going. It was being, I think it was being live streamed. It might have been live streamed, or it was definitely filmed for sure because I saw cameras there. And yeah, it was just it was really interesting that there was a lot of people watching this. Like even on the sidelines around where there wasn't seating, there were people crowding around this court, and it was insane. Like the fact that they had this dodgeball tournament happening, which was really cool. I walked through all these different PC brands. They had these incredible looking PC setups and, PC towers that were one-off designs. I think I saw one that looked like a shark, which was insane. The way they designed this PC to make it look like a robotic shark. There was one that was sort of made into this massive looking red sneaker, like a basketball sneaker. That's a PC tower. There was another one that was very D&D style kind of a thing because it was based off of they had liquid coolers in it, and you could see from the front that it looked like this potion with liquid, and the liquid was actually sort of processing through, and you could see the movement of the water. Or the cooling liquid, and it was all red, mainly red and black and sort of grays, and they made it look like on the inside of the PC as if it was kind of like a side-scrolly kind of game, but not really. Just in its aesthetic, that's what it kind of looked like to me. They had little mini mana potions hanging off certain parts of the PC on the inside. It was incredible. Very fragile though, so they had a do not touch sign, obviously, for reasons. And it just looked really, really cool. I was very gobsmacked with these designs on these PCs, and they had the Transformer 1 promo happening for the PCs that look like some of the Transformers in terms of the coloring and the design of it all. And just really cool looking PC towers. There was a lot of places that were selling things like stands that had black milk was there, which was really awesome. I didn't do my shopping on the Saturday just purely because, I wanted to see as much as I could before I spent any money. Essentially, my main reason for going was not really to shop. That's what I do for Comic-Con. When it comes to PAX isn't really a shopping day for me. It's more of a let's play all the games that I can kind of a weekend. So yeah, that was definitely on the cards, but that happened on the Sunday instead. The shopping happened on the Sunday. So yeah, just, kept walking around. So the first half of this event or in the building was all about video games and PC gaming and all that sort of stuff. Then you moved into the tabletop and TCG section of the building, and that place was a lot smaller the last time I went. This year, it's huge. They have a whole half of that area was set up so that people can borrow board games and sit there and play with their friends and their groups, like for as long as they wanted. And that was really awesome to be able to see that. So, but not only that, there were also all these different stands that were selling, TCG, board games, people who were showcasing their own indie board games, their own tabletop games, and the ones that they've made. D&D was there. Lorcana had their own booth as well, Disney Lorcana. That was my opportunity to go over there and learn how to actually play the game, because I have a couple of Lorcana decks that I hadn't been able to go out of my way to go and learn. I have watched some videos on the gameplay of Lorcana, but I never actually went out of my way to play the game myself in person. So the moment came that I was able to do that at PAX, and I learned how to play Lorcana. And I have to say, I am keen. I want to play more. I'm definitely going to be looking out for more Lorcana TCG events locally so that I can play with friends and be able to learn a bit more about the game and, see where I can go with it. I'm not necessarily looking at being too competitive with it. It's just more of a hobby that I would like to, be able to find a group of people to be able to play with, essentially. Because I don't know very many people who play Lorcana personally. So being able to find these TCG events that happen in like gaming stores locally will be really cool. And I know there are a few places close by that actually do that. So I'm definitely going to be looking into doing that in the future. Probably more so after my US trip. At this particular point in time, I'm just getting ready for my departure, which will be happening in 2 weeks from today at the time of recording. Lorcana is really simple, very easy gameplay. Anyone can play, even kids can play, I'm pretty sure. It takes a couple of moments to sort of get your head around the gameplay mechanics, but it also might take a little bit longer to sort of get your head around what each card does, because there'll be character cards, there'll be action cards as well. You have to, you can challenge with the character cards, or you can send them on quests to gain lore. And the whole concept of the game, in order to win, you need to have hit 20 lore in order to win against your opponent. And, in order to do that, you have to send your characters on quests. And on the cards, you'll be able to see that there are lore counters. Some will gain 1 lore, some will gain 2, some will gain 3. I think from what I've seen, 3 lore is the max on a character card, but I'm not sure whether or not there are others that have more than that. There are also character cards that allow you to gain lore if you play those character cards, even if you don't send them on quests. Like, they just, as soon as they're in play, you immediately gain lore out of them. So yeah, it is going to get a little bit of getting used to for me. I'm going to have to play this a little bit more often to learn all the different card actions and their descriptions and what they do and all that sort of stuff, because the newer decks have other cards that I haven't played with, and that is they've got locations and songs involved now. So, and I have no idea how they play. So I'm going to have to learn how to use those cards at some point. But I will definitely go out of my way to see if I can go to some Lorcana events locally so that I can play with some other people who are also interested in playing the game. So I got to do that at PAX, which was fun. And then for playing and learning how to play Lorcana, they gave away, they had like a little promo thing where once you're done with your learning session, when you walk out of the area, they gave out special Christoph character cards, and they're shiny ones. And Christoph is this particular card. In order to play this card, you need to have 9 ink, which is the currency they use in order for you to play cards, certain cards. And yeah, 9 ink is a lot for this particular character. And his attack number is 3 and his defense is 7. So 7 is actually pretty high as well for defense. So he would be a hard one to actually kill off or to challenge. But he's also got a song card. So this is so for each song card in your discard, you pay 1, I think it's 1 ink less to play this character. Okay. That I'm not quite sure about. I don't know what that means. I'm sure someone else will know and they'll probably tell me. But that is very interesting. And then he's a bodyguard. So this character may enter play exerted. An opposing character who challenges one of your characters must choose one with bodyguard if able. And he is able to quest for 3 lore, which is the highest lore that I have seen so far. But yeah, that's actually really cool. I think one of the artists, the card artist for Lorcana, was there doing signings and taking photos with people, which was really cool. I didn't know who he was specifically because not all cards are made by one artist. They're obviously made, created by multiple artists. So that's actually pretty cool though, that they got a Lorcana card artist to be there for fans to be able to get, signatures and all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so did that. And what else? Oh yeah. Still caught up with some more friends. So I had workmates and friends of mine, just IRL friends, come out to PAX and to catch up and have some fun and play some games and all that sort of stuff. And it's a really good event for catching up with friends, essentially. Is because PAX Aus only happens in Melbourne. It doesn't happen anywhere else in Australia. So a lot of people who come to this event, they're mostly interstate. There a lot of people coming down are from interstate. So from all of South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Western Australia, all that, everybody from everywhere comes into Melbourne. So it's the most busiest weekend of the year for gamers, essentially. And that's really awesome to see as well. I'm wondering whether or not they'll open up PAX to another city, maybe in the West, Western Australia, if they can. I don't know how many people would be interested in going to Western Australia, though. Considering how far it is for a lot of us who are in the East Coast. But yeah, I guess it'll be up to the event organizers to see whether or not they would, choose to do that in the future. It'd be really cool if they did. But if not, hey, I'm okay with that because Melbourne is my hometown and I'm okay with having PAX here in Melbourne, considering that Sydney got, Nintendo Live, which I'm not bitter about still, That's fine. It's all good. But yeah, the last thing I'll mention that happened on Saturday was that I had the opportunity. Actually, there's two more things, but this one big thing that happened, I was invited to be part of a panel. Yeah, pretty cool. Never thought I'd be on a panel, let alone be on a panel at PAX, which was interesting. And yeah, it was a console clash. The war of all wars in gaming. Xbox versus PlayStation. And I was on Team Xbox, and the reason for that was the whole point of this particular debate was that content creators that created content for PlayStation had to be on the Xbox team, and then the Xbox creators had to be on Team PlayStation. So we all had to talk good about that side, or sort of, defend our team essentially. But it was also very conflicting at the same time. At least for me it was. I'm pretty sure my other team members might be able to agree. Being a PlayStation creator and talking about how good Xbox is. But yeah, look, honestly, we didn't do so well. Team Xbox lost against Team PlayStation. So it's conflicting because yay, Team PlayStation won, but I'm not on that team. I'm on Team Green and our team lost. But hey, PlayStation won the argument. It was really weird. But it was still fun. When it was my turn to actually talk, or to talk on my topic, I had so many butterflies in my stomach. You have no idea. The size of the room that this panel was in was a decently sized room. Not gonna lie, it even though it was smaller compared to some of the other some of the other auditoriums and like conference spaces, I suppose. This room was still a decent size, that it had quite a lot of chairs in there set up, even though that not that many people came in and sat down in them. There was still one hell of a turnout to this panel. And not only that, but I also had friends in the audience, including the House of Mario team, who was there too. They were all there. And man, I had so many butterflies when it came to me. I literally just read from my phone. I wrote up a little bit of a script with all of my notes. And I wasn't the only one who did that, by the way. Like, a couple of the people from Team PlayStation also did the same thing. I read my topic verbatim, straight off the bat. But while I was also reading, the other team were like putting in their 2 cents as to why I thought it was good. Like, hey, that doesn't sound right. My topic was that Game Pass was the greatest deal in gaming, and I got criticized for it because it meant that they were like, oh, this is supposed to be a debate about the console, and you're talking about the Game Pass and essentially saying that we don't need a console. So how is that a good thing, I didn't know how to respond. I had such a hard time with that sort of stuff. I'm not good with debates. Or more to the fact, I'm not good with impromptu answers with that sort of stuff. And especially considering the fact that I was talking about Xbox, the one console that I barely play on, it was hard for me to defend myself and my topic. So that made my butterflies shoot up into my throat, into my chest, and I just ignored it and just kept going with my script. I just kept on going. Until I finished it. Then when I was done, and then everybody else started throwing their opinions left, right, and center. even the audience was starting to throw in their 2 cents as well, which was hilarious. My anxiety was pretty high. Public speaking's not my forte. This here, me talking to you through this microphone, through a recording on a podcast, me doing live streams in front of a camera and this microphone in front of my PC, that is a whole different ball game compared to actually talking into a microphone in front of a live audience. That is so much more of a performance thing. And I tried to perform, quote unquote, during this panel, but I was getting crickets. And it made me even more nervous. But I pushed through, I got through it, and I was relieved that I was second out of the three. So one person. So there was some. What was his name? Max went first. Then it was me, and then it was Ash. So out of the three of us, I went second because I asked to be second. I didn't want to be first. And I knew that if I was last, it was going to be even worse. So I was like, just put me in the middle and I'll be okay with that. So yeah, we lost. That's fine. It was still fun in the grand scheme of things, looking at it now. We had a lot of laughs on that panel. Like, even though I couldn't put in like my extra sort of opinions just off the top of my head, listening to everybody, arguing with each other, no matter whose turn it was still very entertaining. And hearing all of the, the laughs and all the people in the audience putting in their 2 cents, the whole vibe of it was good fun overall. I probably need to work on my public speaking skills, not gonna lie. So that I don't get so nervous about stuff like this in the future if I ever get asked to be part of a panel again. The only other thing would be that if I was on a panel that wasn't like specifically themed like this, and it was more so a question, sort of like a Q&A style of a panel, that might be a little bit more easier for me, because then I can just talk, and answer questions that are related to me or to whatever the topic might be. But when it comes to stuff where you have to prepare for it and then come in and then it's supposed to be, this hilarious sort of scenario, it's a lot harder for me. But look, again, I'm going to say this, looking back on it now, it was a lot of fun. But I hope I'm never on Team Xbox ever again. I'm sorry to you Xbox gamers. I can't speak on behalf of Xbox if I'm not the type of person who plays on it. But nah, the whole point of that whole sort of console clash was just to show that, anyone can play their game on whatever platform or whatever console they want, and there shouldn't be, these silly arguments on the internet about it all, because there's no need for that. Just let people play where they want to play. It doesn't matter. Who cares? And I agree with that sentiment, which is why I agreed to do this panel. So, yeah, that was that. It happened towards the end of the day. I think the panel started at 4:30 p.m. So, yeah, I can tick that off my list, being on a panel at PAX. There you go. I've done one. So once that was done, it's pretty much only half an hour left in the day before the expo hall actually closed. So ended up catching up with Drew and Josh again, and went back to their hotel room, and we ended up with some more friends that came up as well in the evening, just having like a gaming night, just playing we played Mario Kart. We also played the Nintendo World Championship NES Edition, which originally I didn't think I would be interested in, because this particular game is essentially just, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have already seen this and come across it, but it's a speedrunning game with all these different challenges from classic NES games. And at first I was like, okay, I mean, if that's what they want to play, that's cool. I'll play along as well. But once I actually started playing with them, and the multiplayer aspect of it made it a lot better as well. It was so much fun. I actually really enjoyed playing through these levels to the point where, because there were games in there, NES games that I had never played ever myself. Like I've never played a Metroid game, and there were some Metroid levels in here. And I was looking at that, I'm like, this actually looks pretty cool. Maybe I might go out of my way to play this game on NSO, on the NES app, because it's probably there. Like, The Legend of Zelda, the first one on the NES. Metroid, I'm sure, is on there too. I can probably pick up my Switch right now and go into the NES app through NSO and be like, I might actually play this because of the Nintendo World Championships game. I'm also even considering going out of my way to buy Nintendo World Championships NES Edition from work. That is how much I really enjoyed playing this game. I am so grateful to Drew and Josh for bringing this to my attention, essentially. And it was great. So we played games, we ate pizza, we had a good laugh, a good chat, and it was really nice to just be able to just sit in a room and just have fun together, which is not something I get to do very often these days. So it was really nice to be able to do that. So big shout out to the House of Mario gang, and to all the awesome peeps that ended up coming along as well. It was really nice to also meet them, and it was just good fun. A really nice way to sort of cap off my Saturday, day 2 of PAX. That was really cool. And now moving into day 3 of PAX, which was the Sunday. Granted, I got home pretty late on the Saturday night, so I ended up going into PAX a little bit later. I ended up I think I arrived at around 12:30 p.m, so it was about lunchtime when I rocked up. Because I was like, I'm not going to be like doing too much more, but I'm going to do my best to, like, this will be the day that if I'm going to buy anything, I'll be buying it today. So I bought some stuff on Sunday. So I did my shopping. I ended up buying, so I went into the Black Milk booth, and I've been eyeing off this Yoshi jacket for so long, ever since they released it on their online store. And it's this really vibrant Yoshi green jacket, like a bomber jacket. It has Yoshi on the back. He's snoozing. And it's got the number 90 on there, which was really cool. And it just looks really nice. So even though it costed me a lot of money, I really wanted it. And I was so glad they had it in my size. I tried on the large, but the large for me, I mean, it fit and I was able to zip it up. That was totally fine. It was a little snug. And when it comes to jackets, I like them to be a little extra loose so that, if I wanted to layer up underneath, I can without feeling too snug and tight and not being able to move my arms. So I asked them if they had an extra large, and they said, yes, we do. I'm like, please, may I try on the extra large? I tried it on. Perfect. It had some give to it. I was able to move my arms around a bit more, and I was like, sold. I'm buying this right now. They had all sorts of other things in there, like not just jackets. They also had dungarees, overalls. I'm going to call them overalls. That's what I know them. They had overalls. They had dresses, like skater dresses. They had leggings. And they're all themed around like all these different gaming IP. Like they had Pokemon. They had Mario. I'm pretty sure they had Zelda. They even had D&D represented in there. And yeah, it was just really cool designs, but it's also a very expensive brand. So as much as I really love these designs and how cool they even had Sailor Moon. They had anime themed clothing as well. They had Sailor Moon stuff that I've been eyeing off for a very long time. But I think what really caught my eye was the Yoshi jacket, and I had to have it. So I just like, out of everything, I would wear the jacket more compared to the dresses and the leggings and whatever. So I ended up just getting the jacket. $150 is a lot, but you know what? I'm going to use it. I'm going to make sure I use it. So I ended up buying that. I also went to the PAX merch booth, like the main merch booth that they had. It was massive. It was pretty huge, but because it was also Sunday and it was about mid-afternoon, by the time I got there wasn't a lot of merch left. So a lot of the merch had sold out from the last 2 days. So when I got there on the Sunday, I was essentially getting like the last little pieces. Some of it was on sale from like previous year PAX merch. I ended up picking up this really this gray jumper, like a pullover jumper that literally only said video games across the chest. And it looked really cool, I think. And it was one of the cheaper items that were on sale. So I'm like, you know what? I'll grab that because I'll wear that around the house, or I might wear it to work, depending on, if it's a cold day or something. It doesn't even say PAX on it or anything. It literally just says video games across the front. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll grab it. That's pretty cool. And one other thing that I ended up buying, which I am currently wearing at the moment, is a PAX 20 t-shirt. And the word PAX and the number 20 are in a balloon design, like a balloon-shaped font. It's very cute, very quirky, and sort of like celebrating PAX's 20th anniversary, essentially. And on the back, there's like a print that says PAX at home, I think 20 years. So that's pretty cool. So I ended up getting that, and it's got like a bit of like a it kind of looks like if you were to get like a plain t-shirt and you sort of got some like splats of paint all over it, but it's sort of like a darker version of the main base color of the t-shirt. So it kind of looks a bit, old and washed, sort of. But it's a really cool design, so I kind of like that. And that was one of the newer merch, and it was out of the two, it was the most expensive one, as it always is when you go to events like this. So I ended up buying that, and it's actually really nice and comfortable, so I really like it. So I'm glad I bought myself some PAX merch, considering that I didn't go last year, so this year was my opportunity to go. I got those. I also went back into the PAX Rising section because I wanted to actually sit down and get a chance to play some of the indie games that were there. And considering that Saturday was the busiest day because it was a sold out day, it was just packed. It was a packed house. So every booth that I went to in PAX Rising, someone was playing something on both or one of the PCs that were set up at every booth. So Sunday was a good opportunity for me to actually go and play some of these games myself and just sort of engross myself into those games. So I went over there and I played The Last Werewolf. And The Last Werewolf is actually a really interesting one that I would definitely recommend. It's a walking simulator interactive fiction, and it's very story driven. So I'll just read it how they've got it written in the on their Steam store page. The Last Werewolf is a story-driven interactive narrative about a determined lone werewolf named Lackey. That was the one thing I didn't ask. I didn't ask about the pronunciation of the name. Lachie. I'm going to say it's Lackey. Doesn't seem right. I think it's Lockie. We'll go with Lockie. Who's on a quest to discover hidden truths about her past and come one step closer to finding where she truly belongs. This game is made by an Aussie developer by the name of Unnatural Freak Studio. It's currently in early access, and there is a demo available if you would like to check it out for yourself on Steam. So I definitely recommend going out of your way to jump onto Steam and check out the Last Werewolf demo. I think it's like the prologue of the game, potentially. So yeah, definitely go check it out. This game, because I had also had a chance, once I finished playing through the first chapter, I ended up speaking to the developer, and essentially it is based off of a mental health thing, and it's because the developer herself actually has is bipolar, so a neurodivergent developer, which is really cool, and they've kind of put that element into the story of The Last Werewolf, which is really cool. And yeah, it's kind of like a way of trying to understand what it's like to be this type of person that has bipolar, shifting between two different sides of their personality. And it's really intriguing. And I kind of like that about games. I saw quite a few games at PAX this year that actually put mental health as part of the narrative of their games, and it's really cool. And this was one of them. I really loved the theming of it. The art style is really cool too. I really like the art style. It's kind of 3D, but not really. There's a journal involved where you gain information, and then you sort of go through and add in all of the info you get while speaking to other characters and NPCs throughout the game. It's really cool. I actually kind of like it. So like I said, it's in early access at the moment. So if you want to go check it out, you can. The developer also highly recommends sending through any kind of feedback that you might have, any kind of, like, if there are glitches or any bugs you might come across. They would love for you to actually let them know what's going on so they can work on it. So it is still a work in progress. There are going to be some stuff in the game that you might come across that aren't fully finished or finalized. So there's still some fine tuning involved. But yeah, the developer is all for any kind of feedback that you can give them, because it's definitely something that she would prefer to have while it's still in early access. So definitely go check out The Last Werewolf. Another game that I had the opportunity of playing while I was there, and it also involved a little bit of mental health and neurodiversity, is a game called Light Haze World. And this is a puzzle exploration game, 3D sort of platformer, and it's cozy. Essentially, they describe it as discover a charming adventure in Light Haze World, cozy puzzle game for adventure lovers. Collect treasure, solve non-linear puzzles, and follow the anxious hero's heartfelt journey to save their loyal dog. Your decisions shape this delightful puzzle experience. And another Australian development team by the name of Radio Bush. They're absolutely lovely people. This game, they've added in the character has some anxieties, and yeah, it's just a way to help out, man's best friend, or the dogs, and we love dogs here. It's amazing. I played the demo at PAX. It was really cool. I actually managed to get through it with a little bit of help from the developers as well. Not gonna lie, but I still enjoyed it. It was really cool. The puzzles aren't too difficult, which is good. I'm not always a fan. Like, I love puzzles, but when a puzzle gets too complicated or if you're stuck somewhere and it's hard to solve, it does frustrate me a little bit, but this one wasn't actually too bad. So I kind of like the look of this. There is a demo available if you'd like to check it out for yourself on Steam. It is called Light Haze World. Made and published by Radio Bush. So please go check them out. Give them a follow. What other games did I end up playing when I was there? I think that was pretty much it in terms of the games that I did end up playing at PAX. There were quite a few in there. This is another thing that I like about PAX. The fact that you can go and just go onto your Steam and just wishlist all these different games. So I ended up wishlisting quite a few. I think I wishlisted about 20 games while I was at PAX for the whole weekend. And I came across a few here that I didn't get a chance to play while I was there, but I am keen on checking out in the future for myself. And I'm pretty sure some of these will actually have demos on Steam. So if you are keen on checking them out, please go and check out their Steam store page and see if there's a demo for them and go play it. Aussie Bogan Hero. That is one that really piqued my interest. This is a Metroidvania. I don't necessarily go towards Metroidvanias myself, but this one, because it's themed around Australianisms and, everything that's Australian, including the animals and, the themes and the locations, this had me intrigued. I like the look of it. It's really cool. It's a 2D platformer, and it's humorous. I'm really interested in checking it out. Aussie Bogan Hero, definitely chuck that on your wish list, friends. And this is made by the developers at Snag Swag Studios. That is also a very Australian name for a development team, but I like it. I really like it. So yeah, go check out Aussie Bogan Hero. Another one that I came across that I was interested in is called Shelf Life: Art School Detective. And Shelf Life Art School Detective is a mystery adventure featuring a cast of romanceable weirdos befriend and investigate 7 potential suspects, use psychic powers to astral project into their artwork, and learn their secrets. Unmask the mysterious art killer that's terrorizing your campus. And this is developed and published by FNIFE Games. So that's FNIFE Games. FNIFE Games. Looks really interesting. It's an interactive fiction dating sim with some detective work involved. So that kind of intrigued me as well. Definitely worth checking out. So go and wishlist Shelf Life. I would definitely recommend it. Another game that I have on my wish, I've actually had this. Okay, so Primordial Legends Hollow Hero. This game has been on my wish list for the last couple of years because I came across them at PAX 2022. And when I saw them again here on the weekend, I had the opportunity to have a chat with one of the devs out of the whole team. And yeah, they're still working on it. They've been working on this game for 4 years. This is more of a passion project for them, but they're actually getting to a point where they love the game. But they want to finish it so that it can be out there for people to enjoy. And I don't blame them. These are full-timers working on a amazing looking game, action adventure game with a wombat as your protagonist. And the whole art style and the gameplay looks amazing. They work, like full-time hours, but they work on the game, 1 to 2 days a week. So it's definitely a passion project for them, but it looks amazing. I cannot wait to check this out whenever it is available. I would highly recommend wishlisting it so that, they can see that there is some interest in their game. And yeah, it looks gorgeous. I actually am really intrigued about this game. It's a third person action adventure game, so definitely go and check it out for yourself. Yeah, definitely recommend Primordials Legends Hollow Hero. I also saw My Father Lied, which is a story-rich, Lovecraftian indie game. It's point and click. There's puzzles, a bit of detective work involved. There's a female protagonist, and it looks really cool. Another one that I came across is Design and Conjure, and I think these particular team, Tiny Kiwi Games, there you go. They are a New Zealand team. And it looks really cute and cozy. Very casual, sort of a atmospheric game. Join Dahlia, a young witch, in her cozy adventure to fix her hometown, reconnect with nature, and bring beauty back as you clean, decorate, solve light puzzles, and help magical creatures affected by the mysterious corruption. So this actually looks really cute and really cozy. I love the look of it. It looks like there's like a bit of decoration involved. You can do some decorating in a room. There's customizable objects, and yeah, it just looks really nice. There's food involved. I love food, so yes, please. And there is a creative mode. There's a story mode. Yeah, it just looks really, really cool and calm and cozy. So definitely go check out Design and Conjure. I've got that one on my wish list, so I'm looking forward to checking that one out for myself. And what else have I seen? Oh, there's one here that looked really funny, and it's called My Arms Are Longer Now. And it is a funny 2D, I'm going to say puzzle game, potentially. I'm not quite sure. They describe it as you are a lucky, long-armed thief. Snake through levels, retract like a vacuum cord, or put on a sock to seduce a lonely guard, whatever it takes to pull off the perfect heist. So it's a heist game, but you're an arm. You're controlling an arm, you're stealing things, and it's hilarious. It just looks funny as. There's a demo available on Steam right now. So if you're interested in checking it out, go on to Steam and check out My Arms Are Longer Now, made by the developers at Toot Games. And I believe they're Australian. I'm not 100% sure. I think they are. But yeah, so that's there. That's on my wish list. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Another game called Ecliptic, which is an exploration mythology story-rich game. It's a puzzle platformer RPG, so it looks really cool. It's got very sort of, ancient Greek kind of mythology going on, very astrology-based. So I like that. It looks really cool. Another one that's on my wish list, Dungeons and Dining Tables, which is an action fantasy RPG with some exploration involved. Looks really cute and cozy. Looks like you can do some room decorations, house decorations, but you're also going out of your way to, fight against people, characters and all that sort of stuff. But your protagonist is an axolotl. So you actually play as a little axolotl. So it's kind of cute. What else have we got? Adaptory, which is another Kiwi-developed game made by the team over at Stormcloak Games. And this is a simulation, sort of a colony sim base building game with some story involved. And they describe it as deep in uncharted space, your expedition took a challenging turn when your ship crash landed. Master complex simulations to keep your outspoken explorers alive, face unpredictable challenges, and figure out a way back home. So this kind of looks interesting. There is a demo available on Steam right now. So if you want to go check it out for yourself, please do. Another game worth checking out that I also have on my wish list is a game called Denari. And Denari is a narrative action game about a boy with telekinetic powers who must fight to save his people from the invasion of an empire, and is being developed by Astronaut Diaries Limited, and it's an isometric hack and slash anime style game. with some action involved, 2.5D graphics. Just for a second here, what does 2.5D mean? It's the one thing that I came across quite a bit, actually, when I was at PAX, and I just want to know what that really means. Okay, so it sort of looks 2D, but not really. 2.5D, basic pronunciation, 2.5D perspective refers to gameplay or movement in a video game or virtual reality environment. Virtual reality environment that is restricted to a two-dimensional plane with little to no access to a third dimension in a space that otherwise appears to be three-dimensional. Oh, okay. There we go. There it is. All right. Interesting. I did not think that was a thing, but apparently it is. Looks really cool though. I kind of like the art style of Denari. So definitely got that one on my wish list. Hopefully there might be a demo at some point. But yeah, it looks really cool. I would definitely check this one out at some point. So yeah, definitely go and have a look at that. And I think the one other one that I came across, which is a game that's already out at the moment, and that is The Sacred Acorn. This is made by the developers at A Few Dragons. And this is a cozy Souls-like adventure about a small squirrel embarking on an epic quest to save her tribe from the corruption threatening to destroy their world. Upgrade your magical abilities, battle legendary guardians, and explore a dangerous, enchanted land in this 2D action adventure. So it's an indie Souls-like atmospheric action adventure game. Did not think I would be interested in a Souls-like game. That is not something that was on my bingo card to be interested in a Souls-like game. A cozy Souls-like adventure game. This is really interesting. You're a squirrel. That's actually also really cool. There's some puzzles involved by the looks of things. But the art style looks really cute. It's made by an Australian developer, and I already love the thought, like the idea and the concept of this game. I might check this one out. There's no demo for it though, which I'm a little sad about. But it is available for you to go out of your way to purchase right now. Definitely go and check out A Few Dragons game, The Sacred Acorn, if you want to be a Souls-like battling squirrel. Looks really fun. So I might actually check this out one day. We'll see. But that is pretty much all of the games that I came across that I have wishlisted personally and that I am really looking forward to checking out once they are available. There are so many other indie games that were showcased at PAX. I will have the Steam event page link in the show notes. So if you'd like to check it out for yourself, please do. It's actually really cool. And there's so many other games in there that I didn't mention that I'm sure you will find something for that will be for you. It looks really cool. I love it. There are also games in here that were that are already, games that you already know and heard of. Cult of the Lamb were there. I mentioned earlier that there was some weddings. Cult of the Lamb had a temple built at PAX. They had an unholy temple, and they had some unholy marriages. And there were real life, actual, factual, legit weddings. So these people that got married at the Cult of the Lamb temple were legit married. On Sunday, they had two. They had one ceremony in the morning. I think it happened at 11 a.m. And then they had a second ceremony at 3 p.m. And it was the highlight. It was the event of the event. Everybody was there watching these people get married at the Cult of the Lamb temple, and it was amazing. The Lamb leader himself was there. It was awesome. And yeah, it was also very touching too. The fact that these people were there to actually get married. And at PAX, who knew? What a place to hold a wedding. I feel like it would have been cheaper too, you know, to hold your ceremony there. But that was really cool. So yeah, Cult of the Lamb, the biggest Australian developed game that has ever seen this world, held some weddings, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for what I did at PAX. I did also buy a couple other things. Toge Productions were there showcasing just their actual development team, but they had some merch available to sell. I bought some Coffee Talk acrylic standees. Granted, they are from episode 2. However, I picked up some characters that I knew from episode 1, even though I haven't played episode 2, but I will. I definitely will. And I ended up getting a Gala and Hyde standee, which is on the shelf behind me when you see me on streams. And yeah, it's really good quality standees, very decent size as well. So I kind of like that. And I also, while I played, when I went to play The Last Werewolf, they were also selling, some merch there as well. So I ended up getting a little keychain of one of the NPCs called Daniel. And it's really cute. It's actually a double-sided keychain. And it has Daniel and his daughter on the back of it. And it kind of looks like a Polaroid picture. So it's actually really cute. I kind of like it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I did also have, I did buy some food there. They had some really good food trucks available for people who wanted to buy food. And yeah, this event will go down as probably one of the best events of the year for me. I had a lot of fun. Exhausted though I am at the moment, I am still happy that I was able to attend PAX as a special guest for the first time. And yeah, I am absolutely looking forward to playing some of these games that will hopefully be coming soon. Everybody, you should all also check out all these amazing indie developers coming out of Australia and New Zealand, of course. And just, give them all of your love, wishlist their games, play their demos, and yeah, just share the love with all of your friends and show them what is coming out of Australia and New Zealand. Oh, by the way, Steam Deck was at PAX. And they announced early, I think it was like maybe a week or two ago, that Steam Deck is finally going to be released here in Australia. There's going to be a local supplier, and I am really looking forward to actually getting my hands on a Steam Deck. They had a booth where you could actually go and sit down. I think it was like maybe 10-minute sessions where you go and sit down and actually handle a Steam Deck and play some games that were already installed. I had the opportunity to do that with my friend, and it was the one thing that I really wanted to try because I've been thinking about getting a Steam Deck for quite some time now. And because I know that I play a lot of indie games, especially Steam games. So the Steam Deck makes sense for me. And I know that I'll get a lot of use out of it. So when I saw that Steam Deck was, giving you the opportunity to test the console, I thought this is a great time for me to try it out. So I got to play some Hollow Knight. I haven't played Hollow Knight before, so I played a little bit of Hollow Knight on the Steam Deck and a little bit of Day of the Diver because that was another game that was also installed. It's very light. So I think these were the OLED models. And it's a very light system. It felt really nice in my hands. The placement of the thumbsticks was actually really comfortable as well, and the way that you sort of grip the console itself was actually quite comfortable. Yeah, I was surprised at how light it was. Like, I didn't expect it to be so lightweight. But yeah, I think it's the UI is probably going to get a little bit of getting used to. It shouldn't be too difficult. But also the fact that there's also some extra buttons and trackpads and stuff. But I'm also glad that the screen itself is a touch screen. So I'm happy about that. Probably try to avoid using the touchscreen as much as possible. But I know that if I do end up having some difficulties controlling it, I also have the ability to use the touchscreen if I need to. But yeah, I got to demo a Steam Deck while I was at PAX, and it was pretty cool. I am 100% probably going to buy one, even though they're very expensive. Like they're the OLED 512 gigabyte model is 899 Australian dollars. So that's a pretty low end PC price for me. That's a very expensive device, but I will probably get the most use out of that. You know, considering the fact that I do play a lot of PC games or Steam games, and a lot of those are very small indie games, not like the high end sort of AAA games. I don't play AAA games on my PC because my PC can't handle it. So I play those on console. Not to mention the fact that I don't really always go out of my way to play a lot of AAA games anyway. So yeah, a lot of the games I play are very small indie games that probably won't take up a lot of processing power. So the Steam Deck makes sense for me. So I'll probably end up getting one once they're available to pre-order and purchase. So at the moment, I have wishlisted it on Steam like it was a game, and waiting for it to give me the announcement that it is up for pre-order at some point, because at the moment it's still coming soon, but apparently it will be available in November for us here in Australia. So I'm very much looking forward to potentially buying one, but that probably won't happen until I get back from my US trip. Speaking of, that will be the next episode of The Many Thoughts I Have. When I get back from my US trip, I will give you all of the details about what I did, what I saw, what I ate in America, as I will be jetting off over to New York City first, so the East Coast, on the 28th of October. And yeah, really looking forward to the trip. Going to be meeting up with some internet friends. Going to be doing all the touristy things. It's going to be great. And then I will be back mid-November, just before the release of the next episode of this podcast. So look forward to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the Many Thoughts I Have podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a 5-star review or rating on your podcast service of choice. Remember that you can also comment on each episode over on Spotify. So if you'd like to do that, I will read them out on the podcast itself. So I would really appreciate all that sort of support. To keep up with me, you can follow me on socials at FoolishFuji on X and Instagram. Of course, I will be doing a lot of posting about my US trip over on my socials as well. So please make sure to follow me over there if you would like to keep up with my US trip. If you'd like to check out my video content and more, you can head over to my website, foolishfuji.card.co, and that's card with 2 R's. All the links will be in the show notes. That's it from me. Remember to look after yourself and your mental health, and happy thinking, friends.